I heard they are incarnations of the sea devil. Supposedly, if you eat one, you'll gain devil powers. But the sea will hate you and take your ability to swim. This statement foretold by Shanks to Buggy is seen as nothing more than a rumor, myth, and misconception. But what if I told you? We can prove that red-haired Shanks never lied. Devil fruits are very much alive and living incarnations, and we have just figured out the biggest mysteries in the entire One Piece series. From the origins of these devil fruits, how artificial devil fruits holds the secret behind ancient technology, how everything links back to Treasure Tree Adam and Sunlight Tree Eve. Most importantly, how Imu-Sama 800 years ago betrayed Joyboy for these trees. Welcome back everyone, it's time to go deep. Chapter 1044 of One Piece revealed that Zoan devil fruits have some sort of will of their own. This opened the Pandora box to secrets behind the devil fruits. Oda even confirmed that the complex mechanism behind all devil fruits will be explained by a certain professor. This professor is none other than Dr. Vegapunk. But what if I were to tell you that he has already revealed everything through his own attempt at recreating the devil fruits, which he then later deemed a failure. I'm talking about Momonosuke's replica devil fruit of Kaido's fish no Mi. Now I want you guys to think, why exactly did Vegapunk think it was a failure before it was even consumed? Understandably, we could argue the fruit was a failure because Momonosuke could only transform into a small pink dragon, which was much weaker than Kaido's transformation. But Vegapunk didn't even witness this, so that doesn't make no sense. Also, to debunk that reason, later we see Momonosuke's age and size being a factor to his fruit's power and transformation, where in chapter 1049, Momonosuke in his fully fledged dragon form was even able to use the power of his fruits, landing the island of Onigashima to safety. So how exactly was this fruit a failure? Well, if you guys activate your deep observation hockey, you would know the answer was given to us in chapter 1044, when the 5 elders revealed that the Zoan fruits have a will of their own. Dr. Vegapunk was trying to replicate Kaido's devil fruit. However, during his process, he understood that it was impossible. This was because though he was able to replicate the genetic aspect to what the fruit gives, he wasn't able to replicate the will of the fruit. The moment Vegapunk completed his creation, he knew it lacked the core fundamental essence of what makes a devil fruit, which is the carrier spirit. This spirit, essence, or even haki if you like to refer it as such, is a living thing. With a natural devil fruit, when the user eats it, they are instinctively able to use their devil fruit power. An example is Kaku, who was able to turn into a giraffe and use all kinds of moves, even turning back into a human with no problem. Likewise with Luffy, he was instantly able to stretch like rubber. He didn't have to actively make his body into it. With Kaido, I'm assuming the moment he ate his fruit, he was able to transform into a fully fledged dragon and back into a human with no issue. This is because their devil fruits came with some sort of essence, guiding their host instinctively through their subconscious. With Momonosuke's fruit, even though it was a replication of a Zoan devil fruit, once he ate it, Momonosuke had zero control or idea how to transform into a dragon and back again. Even in Wano, Momonosuke had such a problem in controlling his flame clouds, and again his body only transformed into a fully fledged dragon with his own genetical transformation as an adult. All of Kaido's abilities came to him instinctively, whilst Momonosuke had to actively bring it out himself. This is because Momonosuke doesn't have any additional spiritual guidance. Momonosuke is relying on his experience and effort alone, with only his own will. This isn't the case with natural devil fruits, which again carries an essence and spirit behind it. Now this perfectly brings us to what exactly is this essence I'm referring to? Well, in chapter 254, we learned that there is an existence in the One Piece world beyond the norms. One existence in particular I want you guys to focus on is the Kurabuantomamaman I can't say it. I'm butchering it, aren't I? I'll give it one more try. The Cloud Bounterman, water spirit that dwells in ships, being its incarnation and spiritual manifestation if the ship has been well cared for. The spirit of going merry not only fixed itself but also surpassed its limits to save the straw hats in Annie's lobby. These spirits are pretty intelligent, but at this point you might be asking, how is all of this relevant? Well, this confirms that emotions, haki and will of people can manifest into living personalities and even bring out a form of life. I want to further explain in another video how Enma and some of the other swords also have their own personalities due to it being imbued with haki throughout their existence. Those of you who have the notification bell on will already know how everything in the universe from living to non-living things has some form of haki. If you guys want me to break down how Enma and other things are alive with their own personalities, then smash the like button and get this video over 20,000 likes. But coming back to this revelation, our theory is that the spirits within the devil fruits are of a similar nature. However, these devil fruit spirits were manufactured or grown, likely by the ancient kingdom 800 years ago, through the cultivation method, which we will explain in a bit. These spirits were then imbued, carrying certain properties. This further makes sense to the awakening of each fruit type. Spirits within the paramecia fruits carries properties of objects, effects, or literal things, and due to being inanimate by nature, they do not have a strong will of their own. Hence, when awakened, the user with their own will can control their fruit's effect outside of their bodies. When it comes to Logias, we believe the origins were natural things that has a will of natural instincts without intelligence. When awakened, their natural affinity would go wild and loose. But when it comes to Zoans, their origins were living beings or personalities, where the will of these fruits are in fact intelligent to some degree. Obviously depending on the type of Zoan we're talking about. Like if you ate the hito no Mi, you would gain the personality intelligence of a human to a high degree. If you ate a random animal fruit that solely relies on the animal instinct, then you will be, like them. Awakened users are able to truly embody the full effect of the personality and creature the fruit bears. So in a weird way, a devil of a sort does exist inside of these fruits, which further explains why when a fruit is bitten only once, the spirit instantly chooses its host and only leaves to inhabit a nearby fruit once their host is dead. The experiment of creating an artificial devil fruit brought Vegapunk one step closer in understanding the origins of these spirits and the ancient technologies that was used. Vegapunk relied too much on the biological aspect, which led to his failure. However, this revelation later helped Vegapunk understand it was possible to feed inanimate objects Zoan devil fruits, as Zoan types are the most intelligent, having the strongest will of the three. The spirit of the devil fruit is able to take form in its respective Zoan whilst using the inanimate object as a base. This further proved that devil fruits do in fact have some sort of carrier spirit within it, and to truly recreate a devil fruit, what was required was the spiritual aspect, which relied on a deep understanding of haki, which means following this theory, logically the people of the ancient kingdom must have had a even broader idea of what haki is, where they were not only able to imbue their will to the material world, but also manifest spiritual life from a collective will of people. This brought forth the devils in the fruits we see today in the One Piece world. However, things aren't that simple, as even the ancient kingdom had their own scientific process, or should I say, the process of plant breeding and selective germination. First, let me explain that the idea of living will and essence being shared to other objects isn't new. Remember guys, in the Skypiea arc, the Shandians noted that their ancestors' soul resides in the trees. At that time, we thought they had, a unique belief. However, what if they knew the truth to some degree? What if their ancestors did in fact share their haki and spirit to the trees around them? Yes, let's not forget that they also mentioned the sun god, which later came into prophecy and manifested in Luffy. So this isn't so far-fetched. But before we do link the devil fruit and the importance of the ancient people sharing their haki into trees, to really understand how the ancient created the devil fruits, we have to look at how Caesar created the artificial devil fruit Smile.
Smiles are artificial artificial devil fruits which are created using a substance called SAD. It was crafted through Vegapunk and Judge's research into lineage factors, then it was put into practical use by Caesar Clown. SAD is however flawed as its formula is incomplete. This shouldn't be surprising because this is the same dude who took money from Big Mom and spent it all on girls instead of his research. What goes through your head when you even think of betraying Big Mommy when she's standing next to you and asking life or death? Alright, like, she's a freaking emperor, bro. Why are you stealing money from her?
Bitch, are you dumb?
Anyway, with its incomplete nature, fruits developed using SAD only have a 10% chance of success rate. Even when they are successful, the user is stuck in a weird hybrid form, and in some cases, a freaking lion on their stomach. Now, this inability of the smile fruits to allow the user to fully use their animal forms at will could be due to it lacking the main factor, which makes a devil fruit, the essence which Yusuf spoke of earlier. This is why Vegapunk deemed the SAD in Punk Hazard a failure. The interesting part about smile fruits, however, is the final process of turning SAD into an actual fruit. After SAD is produced in Punk Hazard, it is moved to the Smile Factory in Dressrosa, where the manufacturing process involves the Tontadas, who are experts in botany, to use luminescent sunflowers on the ceiling as nutrient source to the ordinary fruit trees. These trees get the sunflower light in replacement of sunlight, and for water, they're instead getting the water from the river which has sad poured into it. This then causes the ordinary fruits to become artificial devil fruits. Since smiles have to grow on trees, devil fruits might also grow on trees. Don't take my word for it, as Oda in the one shot of One Piece Romance Dawn already told us that devil fruits grow on trees. Why else would they be called fruits and have a stem? Well, if all of this were to be true, then where would devil fruits actually grow? Like, what tree would they grow on? Well, Oda has already given us this answer also in the Adam and Eve trees. Frankie told us about the Adam tree, which is said to produce the strongest wood in the whole world. So strong, in fact, that long ago an endless war raged on an island. People died. The island destroyed by bullets and left in ruins, but the people kept rebuilding a nation near a giant tree, which had lived through all these devastating wars, and this tree was called the Adam tree. Next, the Eve tree was introduced to us by Neptune when Nami asked him how Fishman Island receives air and light. He told us the Eve tree's roots extended 10,000 meters below sea, providing sunlight and respirating air. Usopp even mentions how these two trees might be related in chapter 620. We know that smiles require two things to be produced: the sunlight from the sunflowers and SAD fed through water. And what does the Eve tree provide the Fishman Island? Sunlight! Alright, in real life, you need the male part of a plant called the stamen to produce pollen, which reaches the female part of the pistil, pollinating the plant, completing reproduction. Similarly, in One Piece, you need the Adam tree to pollinate the Eve tree to produce devil fruits. It could be that in the past, people who settled near the Adam tree discovered this phenomenon, similar to the snake causing Adam and Eve to sin in the garden. The people pollinated the Eve tree, giving birth to devil fruits. Now you might be thinking, what was the original SAD? If the luminescent sunflower was Eve and the father tree was Adam, then what was mixed in the water to produce these devil fruits? Well, instead of SAD, it was the spirit, will, the haki of the collective. The collective consisted of the people of the ancient kingdom, possible different races, and even unique beings which have yet to be shown. I would even go as far to include the sea kings of the past, where later it influenced the idea of the devil fruits being an incarnation of the sea devils. The energy from the sea resonates with spirit in the devil fruits. The user not being able to move, being weakened in the water, could be because the original spirits of the fruit do not want to leave the water. The sea kings are also shown to have a high level of intellect and used to be ruled by the Poseidon of their time. With a combination of the ancients' technology and the haki of the people around, they were able to infuse the water Eve drank from. This makes even more sense that the two sovereigns the Sea Kings referred to was one, their own leader Poseidon of the seas, and then two, the leader who represented the skies above, Joyboy. Both communities bore the fruit to bear for many years. Sunlight Eve is still located in Fishman Island, whilst Treasure Tree Adam was depicted to be on land. Bro, Adam Tree be passing on his family treasure, you know what I mean? This reinforcing the relation to the two worlds Poseidon and Joyboy came from. The idea of them being separated later was likely due to the continent pullers or even another form of technology. Now, to be clear, we're not saying the devil fruits were created during the Joyboy era, rather it must have been before his time, as Joyboy possessed the power of the Hito Hitonomi model Nika. Taking something from our Imu de Judas theory, we spoke of Imu's betrayal of Joyboy, and one of the reasoning could have been the control over the production of devil fruits. Remember, Fishman Island is directly below Marie-Joie. It's safe to assume Sunlight Tree Eve extends above through the red line and ends up on Marie-Joie, likely being hidden away by Imu-Sama in the Pangea castle, especially in the room of flowers where we see him. The room was shown to be brightly lit up by surrounding plant life, which likely stemmed from this tree, alright? However, to prevent Imu from complete control, the giants and continent pullers relocated the Adam Tree. Currently, we do not know the whereabouts of the Treasure Tree Adam. We all speculated it to be located in Elbath, however, secured by the giants and pulled away by the continent pullers centuries ago. It's kind of like the Yggdrasil in Viking lore, you know? But the Adam Tree being lost with some remaining branches left behind could be due to the war over 800 years ago. Who knows, maybe this tree is in Laugh Tale. The evidence doesn't stop there, as in One Piece there are a lot of characters who specialize in plants, especially doctors. To make cures, Chopper uses plants and herbs. His whole training arc was literally in a plant-infested island. Basically, doctors need to understand the properties of plants and herbs to cure illnesses. These Tontadas who help create the sunflower plants for smile production are a tribe of botanists specializing in plant knowledge. Even Doc Q is part of Blackbeard's crew who uses exploding apples. With devil fruits being plants and doctors specializing in botany, maybe Blackbeard's ability to use multiple devil fruits was done through a surgery or some sort of technique by Dr. Q. Even Blackbeard going to Drum Island makes sense now, as he was likely looking for a specialized doctor because Drum Island is said to house good doctors. Crocus, Roger's doctor's name, is also based on a flower he wears on his head. Noland was also a botanist who was an exceptional healer, curing the tree fever of the Strandorians. Maybe Noland wasn't only killed for lying, rather he started to uncover the secrets of the Void Century and executed for that. So yeah, that's our theory about how devil fruits originate. They come from the Adam and Eve tree basically, and they need to have that essence. That's why the smile fruits kind of fail 90% of the time. Anyways, if you enjoyed this, then click the video on the screen right now, because that's another banger theory where we uncover how Shanks versus Luffy will happen.